Hello, everyone. I'm Patricia DeVecchio, CEO and founder of International Purpose. Marie-Ange?
Hello, I'm Marie-Ange Binaguaho, owner of Zawadi Enterprises. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Back to you, Patricia.
We also want to mention a very valuable contributor, Kent Ford, who's an entrepreneur and international development professional for many, many years. So he worked with us. There were three of us that actually created what Marie-Ange and I are going to be talking about. Have you ever thought international development suffers from a lack of imagination? That maybe we are the modern likeness of Sisyphus, constantly pushing against the forces of gravity and getting nowhere, or even being pushed back. We find ourselves up against challenges we have never experienced in our lifetime. Climate change and all the consequential fallout, conflict we have not seen since World War II, poverty rapidly increasing as a result of the pandemic, and many of the SDGs moving in the opposite direction of our hopes. International development is in need of an update, demanding changes that will require us to stand up and show up as we've never done before. Radical change is now needed from the inside out. A change in how we approach our work, and deeper yet, who we happen to be and what we happen to believe in this complex world we work in. We are needed now more than ever to step back and review the past and the present to create a renewed future. Marie-Ange, your thoughts?
Well, we're not using our collective imaginations to see new ways of doing things, new ways of building and delivering values, and new ways of transforming the world. Nor are we being inclusive in our thinking and in our theories, as income inequalities soar around the world and as poverty spreads even within our developed shores. We may want to start thinking about global development, where we look at poverty, health, educational, and other challenges throughout the world. We need ideas and innovations from around the world. For example, something that worked in rural Nepal to improve access to medical care may work in rural Virginia. A good idea for small and effective interventions in Detroit may be useful in, let's say, Mongolia, given a few tweaks. We need to expand our horizons about where innovations and effective ideas come from. As a group of people with a common ideology who are working to achieve widespread development impact, the way forward is to frame and lead a movement that shifts the trajectory of development towards the foundations that were laid decades ago, yet built for the 21st century. Patricia, over to you for the challenge and the questions.
Thanks, Marie-Ange. And one thing I'd like to emphasize that Marie-Ange said was that we need to frame and lead a movement. So we're going to pose some questions that will get you thinking along that line and ask you if you're with us on this. And if so, let's get at it. Here are some questions to engage new thinking and greater imagination. I'd like to read them and give you a few seconds in between to give them some thought. Number one, what do you know in your heart of hearts needs to change in our work and our focus, but you've never quite taken the risk to mention it within your workplace? Number two, what would happen if we truly empower our partners to lead their projects? And I'm going to emphasize their projects. What would happen if the conversation expanded to global development, as Marie-Ange mentioned and gave some examples? Number 4, what part of the standard approach used by USAID and other international development funders needs to be the first to transform? And then lastly, what one thing can you do to move the needle forward towards a reimagined international development movement? Marie-Ange, you want to close us out?
Absolutely. We'll post the questions on LinkedIn in the next few days. Please join us for an active group-wide conversation and exchange of ideas in real time. Thank you all so much.
Thank you very much for listening. Please join us.